Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and what part of the country you are listening, the world you are listening to us from. I'm Oluwakemi Joan Anifowoshe, ODA for short. I welcome you to another wonderful time together on the show. I'm excited because the topic we are going to be considering today is a topic that also cuts across everybody. Welcome to the month of July. I'm excited to be in the month, and I'm also excited to be taking this or discussing this very important and very precise topic. It's intentional parenting. I'm sure many of us we have ideas or we have thoughts that we have about parenting. You know, when I have my children, is I'll take care of them, so I will parent them. So today we have amazing guests on the show and also a discussant that will be sharing their views about parenting. Before I welcome them on the show, I have a quote by Ewan McGregor. He said, "The thing about parenting rule is that there isn't any. So that's why it makes it very difficult." The thing about parenting rule is that there isn't any. So that's why it makes parenting difficult. So joining me tonight on this show is Mrs. Debi Odeniyi. She's married to the most wonderful man, Mr. Odeniyi, blessed with three handsome, uniquely formed boys. She's widely traveled. She has a master's from the University of Liverpool. She's the director of Debo Cakes and Confectionaries. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here too.
Thank you so much for the honor. Also joining us tonight is Mr. Oluwakemi, known as PLM. Welcome to the show tonight also.
Great, I'm excited to be here today. Thank you very much for hosting us again today. I'm excited.
So welcome to the show. From the quote I quoted before from Ewan McGregor, he said that the thing about parenting rule is that there isn't any. So that's what makes parenting quite difficult. So I'll be starting with Mrs. Debi. What do you have to say about the quote? Is it that truly there isn't any rule about parenting that you just give it to your child and then the wisdom just automatically comes to you and you just flow, or there are actually rules to parenting?
I think I'm going to answer. But one, I'm a believer. I believe in God. My standard is the Bible. So if there is even any code, I would say the code is going to be from the Bible. But if we talk about code and like the general code, there are no really code. There's no one size that fits all child when you are grooming, nurturing them, being a parent. You can't say, okay, because I've done this because my mom did this for me, so therefore I'm going to do this for my children. It might work, it might not work. So I would also agree with what McGregor said, Mark, what do you call him again?
McGregor.
Mark what?
McGregor.
So I believe that there is no size that fits exactly. So there is no size that fits all. There is no particular way of parenting that, okay, you have to do it. But as a believer, we have the standard. The Bible should be a standard. The word of God should be your standard. The Bible says that train a child in the way it should go, and you will not forget. You will not depart from that path. So if you can follow those steps, I won't say steps actually, but as long as you are a believer, you're a Christian. I'm a Christian. So I think I'm talking from the Christian view now, Christian point of view. As a believer, as a Christian, the Bible should be your standard. So for any kind of code, I'm not so sure that there is actually one special code in parenting.
Okay, thank you so much for your thoughts about the quote. So PLM, your view concerning the quote.
Kindly, let's have a trouble with the connection. But please, can I have the quote again? Can we have it again?
The thing about parenting rule is that there is
Hey.
That's what makes it. Did you get that?
A very serious network issue, maybe at my side. But kindly take that again for me, I beg you.
The thing about there isn't any. That's what makes parenting difficult.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, that doesn't mean parenting is difficult because there is no rule. Not that there is no rule, because whatever we are doing and we are having results, whatever we can calculate, whatever we can monitor, whatever can work, like there are people that their child cannot just grow wild. Their child will, the only thing that can happen to their children is they will always get things right. No specific rule. However, there are principles. So, and then we should engage the quotation from McGregor. Is it saying there is no rule for it? That is my response. Oluwakemi.
No, what he's saying is that. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
What he's saying is that because of the, there's no particular rule, like no code of conduct that this is exactly the way to train up a child, no rule per se. So that is what, that's what brings difficulty to parenting. Like, okay, for other things probably in the world, this is how to do it, you must do this, you have to do this. So he's saying that because of the peculiarity of parenting, that there's no particular rule for it. That's what really makes it difficult. So are you agree with
I do not agree with him. With all due respect, I know he must be one of the great thinkers. I do not agree with him. Why? Because Debbie just pointed us to a classic, saying from the scripture. I am not talking as a Christian because I'm not, but the Bible says, train up a child in the way that it should go. So that is a principle. That is a law. That is a code of conduct. That is something that's okay. If aligned with that, we are going to get great results. He said, when they grow up, you won't need to force them on who to marry. You won't need to, be monitoring them now that they are adults. So if we are willing, I really don't know the world view of McGregor, the guy that, oh my God, forgive me. The guy that we're analyzing is
quote.
Yes. I really don't know his worldview. However, from my own worldview, there is an instruction. I believe in the one God of the universe. I do not believe in Islamic God. I do not believe in Christian God. I just believe in the God that rules the entire world. I believe in the God that doesn't, oh my. I believe, sorry, I'm fighting many things here, but it's okay. I believe in God that, doesn't prefer a child to another child. I believe in God that will not wake up next tomorrow and kill any of his children. I believe in God that will not throw one of his children or any of his children into hell. So I believe, oh my God, what does that mean to say? So I believe in that great God. So, and that great God gave us instruction, fantastic instruction. And if we follow that particular instruction, contrary to, what the guy that you gave us the school said, we are going to have fantastic results. So there are rules for us to follow, for me to follow, and those rules are clearly outlined. For example, for children, there are instructions for them that they obey their parents, and all that instructions for us. So we are not just left on this of life because parenting house. There are outlines that if we offer ourselves, regardless of our religion, the Bible is not a book for Christians. Jesus is not the founder of Christianity. He himself was not a Christian, so he did not come for Christians. He came for the world. So if we are willing to suppress our pride that, oh, Jesus belongs to the Christian, I am not going to follow him, I'm never going to become a Christian. You don't have to become a Christian before you believe and follow and love Christ. So there are two things. So Christ has said many things to us about God. From the Old Testament, there are several great examples on how we can train our children. So if we follow those, I think we will achieve beyond what Margaret said.
Okay, so from the both parties, I can deduce that you are both saying that you're not the quote is not entirely right, and it's also not entirely wrong. That saying that there are no rules actually makes or it rules out what the Bible says. So actually, for whatever belief or whatever religion or whatever belief you both have chosen, there's actually a code of conduct that is from the Bible that you should train up a child in the way he or she should go. Okay, now, so are we now saying that, I also have another question is, when people want to get married, they go for marriage counseling and everything, the 3 months counseling, 6 months counseling for a lifetime marriage. So for parenting also, do we think that there should be like counseling classes for parents, or a parent should just take from the book and then just train up his or her child from the book? Since according for marriages too, there are instructions there for marriage. There are instructions, okay, do not defile the marriage bed. Women, you have to obey submit to your husband. Husband, love your wife. It's clearly written in the Bible there. So, and whatever belief we are from or we chose. So we also still go through counseling classes. Is it just saying that the Bible is not enough for us, or is it just emphasizing on the fact that a man and a woman, these are your roles in this marriage? So do you also think that before we start parenting children, we need to go for parenting classes, or there need to be parenting counseling? Mrs. Debi.
Life in itself, you can't learn life in a class. You can't learn how to live a life in a class. So parenting is, as I said initially, one of my posts is a deliberate action. You don't just wake up one morning and say, okay, yes, I'm ready to be a parent, or I'm ready to be a mother, I'm ready to be a father. Even when you have that child, even when you read books, a lot of yes, I agree. Even before I started having children, I go for seminars. The seminars are not really for me to know how to train up my children, but it's also prepare me for life in itself. So as you are preparing for life, every other thing comes up. Even as you're preparing for marriage, you're not just preparing for marriage, because I want to be a wonderful wife. No, you want to be a better person. So it's the same thing too. As you go for different seminars, you read books, you watch different documentaries, you watch TV, you watch movies, everything is preparing you for life. And God has given you a child, not just a child, a gift for you to nurture that baby. It's a calling, it's a service that you have to be deliberate about. So it's not okay, I just read in a book that, okay, for some children that like eating sugar, or there are some children that it doesn't work for them. So it's life in itself. So when you have your child, you have to understand that child. And the thing is that you cannot just understand a child by reading just a book. You can read the book, you can do many things. So it's a process. So as day 1, day 2, day 3, year 1, year 2, My first child will be 12 this year. So for the past 12 years, I'd learned so many things. Initially, I made some silly mistakes. Oh, because it's not as, okay, all my children are boys. So the first one was really like calm. If you see him, he's so calm. Most guys are very active. They want to play football. They want to jump on the chair. They want to do so many things. But this one is really calm. He doesn't like wahala. He just sit down. Oh, what are you doing? Okay, I'm fine, mommy. It could be strange. So when the second one came, that one was everywhere. Oh, he was like on fire. Jump on the chair. I want to play football. I want to do this one. So if I say, okay, based on what I've learned with the first one, I want to also transfer it to the second one. It could be an error. So the truth is that it's life. Do you understand? It's life. So as you are growing older, you are understanding that child. You know what that child, you know what suits that child. And as I'll say, okay, I'm going to talk from a believer, because whatever, I'm a believer, I'm going to also talk from that aspect too. Because with the knowledge of God, with God's wisdom, they've come to understand that, okay, this is what we should do. This is what we should say. This is what will help that child to understand you more. This is what will help that child to feel love. This is what would help that child to know that, okay, I'm actually angry with you and what you are doing is bad. So if I say, oh, look at what my friend PLM, look at how he's training his child, and okay, I want to transfer that to my own child, it's going to be an error, because I am not sure if it's going to work for my own child. So that's why I said that, yes, it's good to read books. It's good. I believe in attending seminars. Ask PLM, we've been friends for years. We go for different seminars even when we were young. I believe in going to different seminars. It's not to prepare me to be a wife or to prepare me to be a mother, but to prepare me for life in itself. Okay, what do I have to give out to make impact even on my own children? Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I can also deduce from what you said that you're not ruling out the fact that before we become parents, we have to be prepared for it. You don't just wake up one morning and say, okay, today I think I want to become a mother, so let me get pregnant. But everything in life, including parenting, we have to plan for it. And even for marriage, there is not a day we'll come to a point and say, today I am prepared to get married. Today it's when we get into the marriage, several things unfold, and then because of by the wisdom of God and probably from things we've read from people that have gone before us, we are able to probably take a little from their wisdom, use it, and probably we'll be able to scale through that stage. Okay, MPLM, as a parent, I know you have two boys too. Funny enough, our two guests have boys. PLM has two boys, Debi has three boys, so their houses, I wonder how it would be like. Okay, so having two boys, how would you say that? How would you say parenting the both of them have been, seeing that, they might not have the same characteristics. One might be very, very loud, and the other one might be very calm. So how have you been able to deal with them, seeing that some people have a lot of children and many of our parents begin to compare, why are you not doing like this one, why are you not doing like that one, whereas I'm not my brother, I'm not my sister. So how have you been able to relate to both of them, seeing their different personalities?
Absolutely. There are things we do not because we learn them anywhere, but we grow into good. Now, a good, sensitive young man, unmarried man, hearing on unmarried man, is going to become a good, sensitive, hearing married man. Is going to become a good, sensitive, hearing daddy one day. A very sensitive lady, single lady, kind, loving, sensitive, which one day become all of those values and virtues. She would become those things when she becomes a wife and she starts rearing children. She will surely become a good, sensitive, kind, loving mom one day. So things don't just happen. we live by, some values that we hold so dear to ourselves for so long. And marriage, things change those things. So becoming a dad of two amazing boys, things change those things. I really don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I know I am sensitive. I know I love people differently. I have different kind of friends. Some are, you know, simply amazing. Some are very, very awkward. Some are, different kind of people. And learning to deal with those people before I got married, before I became a father, a dad, is helping me the way I deal with my two boys. Now, my first son, just as Debbie said, my first son is on the full side. My second son, oh my God, he's on the, he's cool too, but he's on the higher, he's more active, not, character-wise or not personality-wise, but, they are both very unique in their own way. And as a dad, I have to key myself into that reality. My sons are so different. They are built with, they are sent here to do different things. They are configured, that's using computer terms, for different stuff. So I need to learn to deal with them differently. For example, one will come and just jump on me, Daddy, good morning. The other one, just look. So now comparing them before themselves at that stage, I'm going to be passing a very wrong, not only wrong, toxic message to the one that usually, if I always tell him that, don't you see your brother? Why can't you behave like your brother? Don't you see? Before immediately he wakes up, it comes to me directly. You will just be, walking around they are different. I need to love them differently. Now, before concluding on that subject, there is something fantastic that Yeshua told us. The person that the European rebranded kind of Christianity called Jesus. Okay, Yeshua told us something fantastic. When he was to teach us how to pray, guess what he said? He said, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Fantastic. Now, that particular statement is so meaningless for us because we are yet to come into the reality of who our Father in heaven is. So, because we've not been so blessed to have fantastic dads, fantastic fathers on earth, there are several selfish dads that, okay, let's say we just have 4 meats remaining in the pot. Dad must be served how many meats? You don't serve many dads 1 meat. Some take 3, some take 2. And if it's remaining 3, those men will still take 3 or 2. If it's remaining 2, they will take 2. That is being insensitive. And our Father in heaven is not going to do that. And there are several, unveiling of the personality of our Father in heaven through the man Yeshua. Now, learning directly from Yeshua has helped me as an individual because Yeshua was able to gather 12 amazing men. You know what? There is one criminal among them. Judas. Yeshua knew all this from the beginning. Before he called Judas, he knew the kind of person Judas is. And he knew what Judas is going to do. But he cared for Judas. He had a Peter among those 12. And he cared for Peter, even though he knew Peter is going to betray him 3 times, deny him rather 3 times. He had Thomas, even though he knew Thomas is going to doubt his resurrection, he cared for him. Now, learning such traits from Yeshua, now I've been able to, key into the reality of our Father in heaven that Yeshua taught us in that prayer. That, okay, how does our Father in heaven treat men? When good people die, you hear people say, oh, no, this man is supposed not to die. More wicked people to die. That, no, it shouldn't be this man. There are more wicked people that are supposed to die. You see terrorists are still walking on our streets. Kidnappers are walking. Witches and wizards are walking. And the Father in heaven is taking care of everything. Now, our children are fantastic. There is no Judas among them. There is no Thomas among them. There is no even Peter that is going to deny 3 times among them. So if we do not have Judas among our children, then what excuse do we have to treat those good ones that God has given us as gifts? Now, I see my children as a gift that God gave myself and my wife. They are gifts. So I see them from that prism. So they wake up in the morning, they are sleeping in the middle of the night. I leave my room to go and check them in their room because they are gifts that God has given me. I have another gift, which is their mother, my wife. So, and just as they are gifts to me, I'm a gift to them. So knowing fully well that they are gifts, the first one and the second one are human beings, but they come in almost the same wrap, the same physical look, but they have different contents. So knowing that, I have to treat them with respect and be committed to loving them differently.
Okay, thank you so much, PLM, for your words. Mrs. Debi, we're talking about, every child is uniquely created. Every child has its own peculiarity. So, how do we draw the thin line between using another child to encourage the other from comparing your children with each other? Because comparison has done, if you look at sibling rivalry now, you will see that it was majorly caused by the parents. By the time you compare me with my sister and then you shout at me, can't you see what I sister, because she's the pride of the family and everybody is just talking about her. So how do you encourage your children or your child with the other one without making him feel as though is inferior to the other person?
I like the fact that you said a thin line. It's indeed, I'm looking for another word to quantify how thin. It's very, very thin. Because the truth is, our motives should be checked. We should check our motives. The truth is, there is no how. There is sometimes when you compare, I don't believe in comparing children with children, but sometimes they need a push. I'll give the example of my children. My first child is calm, as I said, very calm. My second son is very active. He's the one that wants to adventure. He doesn't like all this boring thing, just sit down. So sometimes just to push the first one and make him know that, yes, you can also do it. Do you understand? I hope you understand what I'm going to say. I'm not trying to compare them with making him feel bad, making you know that you can also do it. If this one can do it, it's just sometimes when you say, okay, for example, when somebody comes home and you have maybe out of 10, you are number 9, and there was the first position. I don't know if you grew up that way. There's something that my parents, they will say, so the person that carried first, the person has 2 heads, Debi. You that you carried 9, you have 5 heads. So it is not a battle. It's just to make you know that, see, if that person can do it, you too can do it. So, for example, last 2 weeks or so, I was just making a joke in the house, and I was like, my second son is Ife, and I was telling him that, see, Ife, you have turned to a parlor child. Any is the first one. Any rides his bicycle, he goes out, he knows how to play with himself, make himself happy. And that's the other side. Even though he's very active, even though my second son is very active, he gets bored easily. He just takes a project. I'm like, oh, mommy, I'm bored. Oh, mommy, I'm bored. And I'm like, why would you be bored? You can't find something else to do. So sometimes I'm like, okay, look at Ellie. He has gone out, he's gone to ride bicycle. You have the bicycle too. Why can't you go outside and ride your own bicycle? So sometimes it's a push. But when you now start making it feel derogatory, you're so, I don't know, I'm going to explain it further, that but sometimes you make it you make the other person feel so low. And sometimes we parents, we don't know that we are doing that. Even me, I'm guilty of it sometimes. Because sometimes when I expect so much from a particular child and you are giving me little, and I'm like, why? Why will you be giving me little? You have so much potential in you. So why are you giving me little? You have so much. Sometimes we forget that, okay, they will not say, okay, can't you see Timileni? Can't you see the wall, So as I said, it's a thin line. Before you cross it, even you would have crossed it, you don't even know that you have already crossed it. So it's very complicated. Let me just put it that way. It's complicated. It's just that I will go back again as a believer. The Holy Spirit is there I will talk as a believer, sorry. The Holy Spirit is there to give you wisdom so that when you are talking off point, it's there to say that, okay, now you have crossed the line. You have gone over the belt. You have gone under the belt. So at this time, you have to come back. Make the child realize that, okay, no, I didn't mean to make you feel bad. This is my point. This is why I'm doing this. So let me allow PLM to
okay. PLM. Okay, you know that, at the example she gave, she said, while growing up, probably night is even very, very far. We see this this contest between the second and the first in the class. A child is taking third, second, and every time she brings a report, or he or she brings a report card home, the parents will always be like, can't the person that took first? Isn't the person like does he have 2 heads? Does he have 3 heads? This is second position though. I'm not against the fact that you are trying to push your child to actually be the best. So eventually, this one now is even in the class. You find out that usually the second position and the first position in the class, they almost are not always friends. Because the second position's parents are pushing, like, I understand the push, but it's always as though the first person is the enemy. Same thing happens in the home. Probably you have 2 children. I know that, some people say, oh yeah, some people said, no, I'm not supposed to go to school. I don't believe that. Every child, you have the capacity to do what you want to do. So, but okay, probably the first is taking first, and the second is not doing so well. Not that the person is failing, but it's trying. And then every time is your brother. Can't you see your brother is doing first? Is the first position in the class? Can't you see every time is the brother? Okay, so what are the practical ways you feel that as a parent, without making the other person feel bad, without making the other person feel as though is the worst child from this world? How do you think of it?
Okay, should I come in?
Yeah, please. The question is for you.
Awesome.
Okay. What are the practical ways you feel that we can go about it?
Yeah. Yes. Now, then I think I should consult that McGregor that you gave us a quote the other time. Practical way. Children are so different. Gather 10,000 children. Gather 1 billion children. These guys, no matter how they look alike, they are very, very unique in their own way. Very, very unique. I can't remember actually when I ever took first in class. Nothing was wrong with me, but I never took first in class. So why should I pressure my son? Becoming first. See, I have learned so much about this life that A students usually work for C, even F.
Yeah.
Many A students usually, they are always office. They can't even be too creative. The only thing they know how to do is to read theory, submit the file, resume in office, and those kind of things. But go to C and even F students, they are superb entrepreneurs. They make things out of nothing. They are not concerned about whatever result you are bringing home. Just be fine. Make sure you are putting life effort. What's going on?
I'm actually laughing at you now.
Okay. Yeah. Just put right efforts. I'm going to give you my best. If you need extra coaching, we are going to offer it. If you need extra, attention, we are going to understand your own system. We are going to understand your own system of, studying. Like, for example, I do not assimilate in the daytime, especially while in higher institution. I assimilate best in the night, especially very early in the morning. Very early in the morning. I think there are some other background voices. So if you are not talking, you can switch off your mic. So we won't be having interference. Okay, fantastic. So, I'm not concerned about whether you are first, second, third. I think I only took third once. But guess what? My teachers, there was a day after exam. My teacher came to, I went to a community school, not like, Debbie. And not like you. I think you attended OLAS, right?
Well, I did attend OLAS and I attended Regan.
Okay, yeah, OLAS, yeah. So you and Debbie share something in common. Okay. I came from, my primary school was, a community school, secondary school, another fantastic community school. Even with all that, community school, I never became first in class. Oh no. But in the midst of it, because I was serious, my teachers believed something is wrong with this boy. When they marked my exams, they are expecting, say, 69. Yes. Over 100, they will see 45. Many of them will come into staff room and say, what happened to you? I will say nothing. But you always talk very well in class. I said, yes. You always, in class, I was the most active. Any question they ask, I will always, in fact, if they are about to beat our students, because they used to beat our students back then, if we did not know the question they ask. If they're about to beat everyone, they will say, Folarin, don't worry, I know you know the question. Even though I don't know it. So, but after they beat everybody, they will now say, Folarin, let's hear your opinion. What's the answer? I'll just look for some things, pick this. When the teacher gets tired of he says, okay, I know you know it. Don't just know how to put those words together. Now, that was me. I'm not like those fathers that usually say, I used to always take first. I used my position in secondary to primary school is always first. No, not like that. But I'm fine. I am very fine. I was so fine that I was their senior prefect, even though I never became first.
Yeah.
So I really do not have issue with whatever position, but okay, if you are 50 in class, don't come back with 49 position. That is there. So, but put your best effort. Put your best effort. Now we will go back to, it was Debi that started us with that scriptural part, train up a child. That is fantastic. Train up a child is not teach a child. It's not the same instruction. So what we do is we teach them. Why the Bible is saying train them. Train them means be involved in their life. Our teachers are not involved in our lives. Oh my God. I remember one teacher like that, our Yoruba teacher. I don't know your own Yoruba teacher. They are always talking. There was a day she called me. She said, okay, who can write this thing? I stood up. So I suppose I jotted that code, all what Yoruba people call, I jotted it. See, I never knew she's been looking for opportunities to beat me. Those are teachers. Because she's not involved in our lives. But some lecturers, I know all of you will fail. They are not involved. Whether we fail or we succeed, nothing concerns them. But a trainer is not like that. Guess what happens to a trainer, a coach? If the players are not doing well, Football clubs don't sack players, they sack coaches.
Coaches,
So
yeah.
what God is telling us is be their coach, train them, be involved in their life. So if my son is not doing well, I do not create my own kind of journey in secondary school, primary school for my children. So because it's a mix of something horrible and something good. But but you know, train up a child, get involved in their life, in their academic life, in their social life, in their emotional life. So when we get involved in them differently, if they are sick, like my mom was so tried so much, she gave my dad 4 boys, 2 girls. So and I know a family that just have 6 boys. So now, if you have all of these boys, they are so different. It is evident our firstborn is always first in class. There was a time it's called 31/30. Let me a little louder. Yes, it's called in geography. I remember the subject in secondary school. It's called 31/30. The teacher was so impressed that he said, come on, you are very good. Give him 31 instead of giving him 30. That's our firstborn. I'm not our firstborn, and I love myself. And because of my understanding, I don't want my children to even be alive. So it's exactly fun. Parenting becomes fun. You understand this dimension. Parenting becomes fun. In fact, in some homes, the last child is always the most brilliant academically. Being brilliant or superb academically doesn't mean you will be superb when it comes to crafts, when it comes to reasoning, you know, just thinking out things for yourself, becoming so responsible that you just know this should be in place, this should be in place. So becoming so, in fact, this school that we are even saying is all fake they gave us. Because if we give our children the best kind of education that they are practicing in these developed countries, all of them will be so amazing. So the kind of education we are practicing in Nigeria is subjected to making some students feel inferior and some feel superior. So it's not our children's problem. It's the kind of teachers. You see, when I was serving in Taraba State, one of the core members saw me and said, okay, I saw him, he was doing something fantastic on his system. And I said, okay, animation, that is fantastic. And he said, we started talking. He said, when he was presenting his final project, guess what happened? The man that supervised his project asked him a question that, okay, how did you know this particular thing you are doing? He said, I studied. The man said, I'm the one that I taught you animation, and I didn't teach you what you have done in your project. So get out of this place. Where did you get it? You must have, you know. So our teachers do not believe in us. That is the kind of education we have. So whatever they like, all I want to know is that they are putting their efforts. They are just putting their best efforts in their schoolwork. I'm fine. Whatever. So I think as a principal, parents should just relax and love them differently. Some will come home with fantastic results, and some will come home with bad results. All of us, let's think back. Kemi, you are not among because you are always first. Now, the rest of us, that's, you know, let's think back. How many of those codings that we received while we were growing up changed our life, changed our study life? Nothing changed. We are still the same place, but when we encounter, for example, there are people that were not initially good in mathematics, but just because a teacher took special interest in them, and that teacher is always saying, I know you know it, and go it. Mathematics became the favorite of such people. So we need to find a very fantastic way to encourage them. Don't react when they come on with the funny or ugly results. Appreciate them, hug them equally. Hold your daughter that is not coming home with very impressive results. Hold her so close to your heart and tell her that I believe so much in you. You are the best. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with your brain. You are very fine. Look at the one that comes in with good results. Look at him, hug him so tight. You are very fine. And then ask both of them, what would you like to say? Both the one that didn't come home with good results, if you know his best delicacy, cook it for him or her that day. Then you are encouraging and see what is going to happen in the next exams. Children don't like hurting their mom, especially. Yeah, they don't like hurting their mom. So do that. Don't allow their results to change them. Now you are to change your countenance, to change the way you relate, to change your interaction with them. That is why when you tell your children, when people tell their children that I love you, those children don't believe them. Because they believe the love their mother is expressing to them is circumstantial. So they want to know, Mommy, if I come home with bad results, do you still love me? If you tell them yes, they will tell you, Mommy, wait till I come home with that result. So will you still love them? So their result, their full result is not even talking about them. It's not talking about their essence. It's not talking about their genius. So they didn't understand what the teacher taught them. So we should call the teacher, how come you didn't understand my son very well, that he was not able to. And if we can't do that, let's find a fantastic way to help him without passing a wrong message to him. So when he thinks that, oh, I know my mom loves me, he's very sure. Because he knows that even I come home with bad results, it won't change anything. And good children that comes from great homes will not want to, play or just take that opportunity, that privilege they have, because they know how their friends' parents usually treat them when their friends fail. Now their own parents usually take them with nothing has changed. Wake them up in the next morning. Back then, let me say this for the last my last answer to this question. Back then, there are times we didn't take our result home. When they ask us, where's your result? Our result is not given. We say when we receive, and perhaps we not they say, I will tell them that, okay, they say when we pay school fee. When we pay school fee, that will be the next time. Where is your result? And my teacher is this, my teacher is that. And by the time we will get them into the point at which they will be tired of asking for our results. And I remember, there are people that some of my parents usually assume that, okay, had a good result. Everybody usually assumes that, but not always. So when they always believe me. Now there are some other people, when they have bad results, and their mom, the next morning, you say, Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy will look at you that, hey, you are hungry. Hey. So you can be hungry. So who should be hungry if not you? With all your bad results, you still want to eat in this house. And I have discovered that that's usually devastating and usually cause more devastating effect in the lives of the children or in the life of the child. So those results, they are not really expressing how great, how awesome our children are. So we shouldn't get ourselves all worked out because of the result. Even there are 15 in class. If our son is coming home with 15 results, we should sit down quietly and ask, what happened? Oh, there are some children, they don't see from afar, and they usually put them at the back of the class. So they don't usually see what is being written on the board. What happens? Mommy, nothing. Oh, can we go to your favorite? Should I buy you your favorite cake, or do you want to play? Let's play your favorite game together. Do you like ice cream? So just don't allow the result to affect your emotion. We can control all this. It is not difficult if we are committed to what I am suggesting. It's not going to be difficult. It's just a little taste of concept that okay, I'm going to do better, no matter what they are results. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, PLM. I would just say that when we identify our children's strengths and weaknesses, many of these problems will be solved. I think many of us, I'm not a parent yet, but from the little I've seen and everything, because of, what we've envisaged for the child while growing up, I want you to be a medical doctor, and, we tend to close our eyes towards the weaknesses of the strength of that child, and then just push that child to become what we want the child to become. So if the child is saying, I don't want to become, it might not say it to us, but you are seeing that this result of this child cannot thrive as a medical doctor. But because of our, probably our parents' selfish interest in the children, they will force you must become a medical doctor. So even if the child is thriving or not, I think most parents don't even take time to study the strengths and weaknesses of their children, because many of us, including myself, I did well in school, so they thought because I was so vast and everything, I must go to science class. Whereas if it was that they actually took time to see that this girl might just be very intelligent, but this is what she wants to do. So because of my parents, everything, I had to go to the class they thought was going to be suiting for me. It was science. I did well in it, but deep down in my heart, I felt, let me just do it, just please them. We get. So I'm not saying that we should try to watch the strength of our children. Our children have different strengths. This one might be very good in mathematics, and the other one is not very good in mathematics. Doesn't mean that the one that is not good in mathematics is inferior to one that is good. It might be very good in writing. It might be very good in speaking. It might be very good in different stuff. And we should just try to identify it and then measure our efforts on those strengths. What we do with the weaknesses is that probably we can, help them. We can help them. Probably in school now, you have to pass mathematics, or whether in an art class or not. Just help them to scale through. And then when they're able to do that, you take your time to really major on their strengths. You see that sometimes those children will try very well. Those children will do very well when you are able to identify their strengths and fuel it, fan those passions to flame. And parents, not every child, imagine all of us have children and they're going to the same school. Not all of them will be first school. Some of them will be second, some will be third, some will be fourth. In fact, if you have 15 people in a class, at least one person must carry 15 now. As Ian said, what is much more important is that even if you be taking 15, it's not because you are going to get 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Even in that 15 position, you are doing very well. So in as long as we don't want our children to feel as though they are inferior or not, we are still going to push them to excel. We are still going to make them do the best they can do, make them be the best they can be, make them excellent in whatever they lay their hands on. Doesn't mean that you're being excellent, doesn't mean that you have to be the first. You can be uniquely different and still be excellent. So parents, this is an urge for all of us. Please stop beating your children if they don't take first in class. Stop beating them if they're not leading in their classes. You want them to lead, but beating them or talking them down doesn't make them do well. Okay, so because of our time, I have 2 more questions to ask. And that while growing up, there was stuff that your parents did and were like, "Kai, this woman is unreasonable. Like this man, why would you do this to me? Why would you talk like this to me?" And as a parent now, like seeing from the eyes of a parent, what are those stuff? Can you just share a few things you are now seeing that, oh, my father was right. Oh, my mother was right. That you didn't see them as a child while growing up.
Is the question for me?
Yes, you.
For me. There are a lot. There are many. I don't even know where I'm going to start from. There are many, okay, next year we'll make it 13 years of marriage now. So, and my God, as in for every year, I'm like, okay, so this is it. This is what my mommy was saying. This is what she was going through. This is what my daddy was saying. And this is what was in his head when he was saying it. Let me just, my first child will be 12 this year. So it might not really apply to him now. But as a mother, I've come to understand that based on what they were saying there, I think I have a better understanding now And if I'm to do what they did, I would do it better. I'll give an example. There was a time that most of my friends, growing up, most of my friends were guys. That's PLM. I don't really have female friends. Most of my friends were guys. So there was a time that all my friends came around. I think it was a Christmas PLM. It was a Christmas, maybe Christmas period. I've forgotten. There was a time that my friends came, PLM, Sheung. A lot of them just came to our house. And, because I'm a lady, then I didn't understand what he was saying. What did you say?
Yeah, it should be a Christmas.
So then I did not understand what he was saying. It was just like, you're a lady. How can you have so much friends that are guys, And I knew that all my friends were just platonic. I didn't even have time for boyfriend that time. I didn't even have time. Most of my friends were just friends. We were just normal friends. As in we knew what to say. We were church people. We were choir people. We're just sold out for the gospel then. But he didn't see it because he was older and he was seeing something else that I was not seeing. So they came to my house, we had fun, we were watch TV. It was time to go back. I accompanied them to the junction. And when I came back, my daddy was really furious. He was angry. And I was like, why is he angry? What did I do? He was saying so many things that he shouldn't be saying. I was really angry. I was like, fine, one, you don't even trust your daughter. You don't even know. I was just like, I was sitting on top of the world, like seriously? Why will you be talking? Why will you be doing this? But when he died, so many things started happening. And I'm like, oh, this was what my daddy was seeing. Yes, I was fortunate that most of my friends were the reasonable ones, But I've had cases whereby you have friends that they're supposed to be your friends, but they took advantage of you. Some of them have been raped. Some of them have been, so many stupid things that happened to them. So those are the things that he saw and was trying to protect me from. And I did not see it then. But now that I'm a mother, I'm sure that I will not wait till that time. At this time already, by first I will be 12. And I've already started telling that this is what it should be. This is how you treat women. This is what you say. My husband is always when we show affection at home, we always say that this is how you're going to treat your wife when you have your own. So we don't wait till when they are in their when they are 16, when all the hormones are crazy. We won't wait till that time. We'll start telling them what should be. This is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do. And as they grow older, we keep telling them, okay, this is, as they grow older, the message will start changing. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can.
The message will start changing. There's something that my mommy too said then. My own is even funny because I got married first in my family. So I didn't even know I'm going to get married at that time. I had my life planned out. Like, okay, when I finish school, I'm going to do my master's. After master's, I'm going to do PhD. After PhD, then I'll start thinking of marriage. I had my life planned out. So all those cooking things, I did not have time. I'll just learn the small things, make cook rice and all those ones. But my mommy was always like, you're a lady, you should learn how to do this, you should learn how to do that. And I'm like, I don't have time. I'm going to be a working class woman. I had my life planned out like that. But when I came and I was like, I'm going to get married. The first year, there was some soup that I should have learned since. And that's why I called my mom, like, hello, mommy, how do you cook this soup? I wanted to impress my husband. So, there's something that I'd seen then. I wouldn't wait till that time. Now, I have 3 boys. Now, okay, right now, one of the things that I told my husband when we just came back was, I don't need a maid. I want to be able to nurture, I want to be able to train up my children that they don't depend on any maid. You should be able to take care of your room yourself. You should be able to take care of yourself. As like, even though you are 12, you are 9, you'll be 7, you should be able to take care of the basic things. In my house, there's roster. You are the one washing plates Monday, you are the one washing plates Tuesday, so that you will not become all these boys that they cannot take care of themselves, that you'll be waiting for one girl to come and cook for you. You'll be waiting for one girl to come and, it's just the learning process. So those are the things that they did then. Yes, they were on it, they were shouting, screaming, but I'd seen it that is different. Yes, they had an idea. It's a good idea. It's a very, very good one. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Very well.
Yes.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay, so they had a very good idea. Sometimes they did not execute those ideas well. Or I will say that, no, let me scratch that. They did it the way they knew how to. how best they could. Because remember that the way they trained them too is different from the way they trained us. And it's going to be different by the special grace of God. The way we train our own children will be different from the way they trained us. So it's based on what they know. What they know. My daddy was a very African father. He was a very African man. So he believes in all those, African daddy-like kind of thing. So my husband is not that like that. He believes in, okay, we are a team. That's the kind of, he believes in working together as a team. And so that's what we do in our own house. So we are seeing that is different. So we can also pass it down to our children. You should work as a team. When you get married, you don't leave all the old work to your wife. Make sure that you work with her, you help her. My parents-in-law, I saw it live. If there's anything at length, is the way my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, the way they treat themselves. Oh my God. I used to say that their marriage is made from heaven. As in like marriage made from heaven. The way my father-in-law was, I can say it's worship. The way he treats his wife. Oh my God. It's awesome. So my husband has been able to learn that. And when he brings it home, it's just like, for me, it's special, but for him, it's just a regular thing. So it's the same thing too. We pass it on to our child and say, see, when you grow, you don't even need to grow up. When you have friends that are ladies, this is how you should deal with them. This is what you say. This is how you talk to them. This is how, like that. So that when they too start having children, it will be better. It will be refined. I hope you understand. It will be refined. It won't be the same old thing that they've been doing and, like that. Then I'll just end with this scripture that, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Okay, yes, we can.
I'm going to end it with this scripture that I found that got to me this year, that the Lord will train your children, and great shall be their peace.
Yes.
If you have put these children on the altar of God and you trust God on them, as unique as they are, you will be amazed at how they will turn out. Personally, that's what I've been running with from the beginning of the year. Every time I pray, I say, God, I remind him of the promise. I say, God, you say we should, you yourself, you will train these children, you will teach these children yourself, and great shall be their peace. And I declare that great shall be my peace on these children because I have put them on your altar. So that is what yes, as parents, yes, do your part, but also allow God to do his own part, because he's the one that formed them. He's the one that created them. He's the one that named these children himself. So when you are dealing, when you are speaking, I say, God, give me wisdom as I'm speaking to this child. Like my first time, I tell him, because sometimes, because he's calm and cool, I make him understand, say, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So as a believer, we go, but the Bible is our standard in our own home. So for everything, when he says, oh, I'm tired, you cannot give up, because, remember, Jesus did not give up. So you cannot give up. So those are the things that we work on, we deliberate on. Yes, sometimes we can be firm and say, no, what you're doing is wrong. Sometimes we bring the rod, because I believe in, yes, I can pet you, but at the same time, I can also chastise. The Bible says that the child that the father chastises is the one that he loves. So I'm of the opinion that, yes, love your child. When it's time to chastise them, chastise them. When it's time to beat them, beat them. When it's time to do all lovey, yes, do all the lovey. So that's it, Sha.
Okay. Can I come in?
Yes. I can't see how.
Okay. Maybe I should just go ahead in answering that question. Perhaps you will join us later. Okay. Okay. So okay, she's no more there. All right. I think our question is, are there things that you now discover to be, right now, that, okay, things that your parents were doing before that you used to criticize, that you used to feel, oh, why did they not understand? Now you know better as a parent that, okay, this is what mom was saying, this is what dad was saying. And you say, Funny enough, I really don't know. I really can't remember anything. I hardly remember those things. Yes, I hardly remember those things. But picking it from where we are now, I know, in parenting, it is evident that Debbie have, more experience because our first son is going to be 12. My first son is going to be 4. So um, it's not the same experience. It's not the same experience. However, um, parenting is basically principles, and Bible as a book is a very give us fantastic templates on how we should parent, father, mother, our children. If we are willing to, you know, go through not so many parts of the Bible, because there was a part in the Bible where God told the children of Israel to destroy some people. Some people were killed. You know, there are some betrayers. You know, there are several things in the Bible, but where I am pointing us to is the actions, the doing, the expression, the relationship of Jesus with people around him. Now, if we are willing to understudy him, we won't have much issues with our children. We will be so committed to them. We'll be so committed, regardless of their temperament. We will have to push hard at some point. There are times you need to shout, but if you shout at that point, we are going to pass a very, very toxic message to the child. Some children still have the notion now that their mom don't like them. Some children still have the notion that their dad don't like them. And it's because the parents didn't make them understand the reason why they are being punished for whatever they are being punished over. So, and that is why last week I suggested being scolded on the spot. I remember back then that our parents, okay,
You go and sleep.
they beat you. Yes, you committed a sin. You committed an error in the morning. Mommy would say, "Don't worry, when your dad comes back." And when dad comes back, or more, mommy will tell daddy, and daddy will say, "Is it true?" They won't ask for your opinion. They won't ask for the rationale. They won't ask for the reason why you committed the error you committed. Is it deliberately committed, or you felt that is the way to do it? So my dad will beat you, and while daddy is beating us, mommy will be somewhere shaking that it's too much. It's too much. But you are the one that reported us. Now,
She's doing her part now.
Mommy, you said?
I said she's only doing her part. Oh.
Absolutely. Now, mommy, now I know, and that is what my wife and myself were practicing. If they are doing whatever is wrong, you beat them. You punish them. You scold them. We don't beat as in, like I said, like how military people beat civilians. They beat us like that. my immediate elder brother. Oh my God. He knows, those pankere, not even pankere, kuboku, whatever. When it's becoming too much, we pick everything and find a place to throw them. And when that happens, my parents can guess who did that. They know it can't be Pelumi. It can only be this particular son of theirs. So, what's my point? Ladies, mothers, if your children are missing it, you deal with them. You don't have to tell daddy when daddy comes back. So if children are doing, so you may tell daddy, not for daddy to beat them again, but for daddy to be aware of what is going on. Scold them. I really don't like the word beat. We shouldn't get them used to, because if we get our children, if we get them used to beating, that beating will not correct anything again. They'll just tell themselves that is it not beating?
Not beating.
So they need our love. Now it is more demanding to love them for who they are. It is very, very demanding in this our age and time. And their own brain is far more developed than our own brain. Go and check them out on things they are doing, books they are reading. They are just so amazing. So we need to pace up with them. We shouldn't be fixated on their errors alone. We should praise them, get them used to us praising them more than scolding them. So, and there are things that we do that instead of scolding, just overlook. So they are children, that is the fundamental fact. We can't be picking scriptures because this is not a church program. But there are principles in the Bible that we can follow. And, fantastic principles that we can follow as parents. And if we follow those principles, we will not regret it. Now, lastly, parents used to feel, despite all I'm doing for you, I'm paying your school fee, I'm feeding you this house. The question is, who should pay school fee? Me paying for your own children's school fee?
We pay it.
Is it not your duty to pay your children's school fee? Are you expecting extra praise, extra hugs? You want people to carry placard and say, oh, daddy, thank you for paying your children's school fee? They deserve whatever we are giving them. And if you feel they don't deserve it, you stop giving them. Then you become a bad parent. So they deserve everything. Whatever you are buying for them, they deserve. Now, we focus on too many things. Whereas we don't need to focus on too many things. As parents, let us list out 10 things that we want to get done for our parents, for our children in following 10 things. I tell you, only 2 out of what we've listed will be more important. This argument, I'm building on the principle of Vilfredo, what is his name now? Pareto, who says in the year 1895 that 80% of your results will come from 20% of your activities. 80% of your results is going to come from 20% of your activities. So loving your children is not a big deal. Stop loving your children. I'm going to say that to all parents. Stop loving your children. Stop being kind to them. Stop taking love as a subject that, oh, I love you. Stop saying it to them. Act it. They really do not understand it when you tell them, I love you. Because the point is, shouldn't you love me? Why are you telling me what you should do? Now, only be committed to making sure they are truly happy. They may not be happy based on your action. Truly happy means sometimes they are sad because of a disciplinary measure you are putting in place for them. You can imagine in Debi's home now, if a particular child misses his duty, there is something that is going to happen. I'm sure Debi will not call that son and say, okay, oh, thank you for meeting your own duty, maybe in the kitchen or somewhere. No. You will receive an instruction, something, which I really do not. But the point is, I'm sorry to you because my own children, they've not started to be doing those things just for. They are doing things they can do, but not, hard, like a 12-year-old.
Young now.
So now my point is, when they are sad, let them be sincerely right. Don't get them sad because you are emotionally hurt. Perhaps my wife said something, or there is something going on between myself and my wife. That should not dovetail to my children. I shouldn't pass any aggression to them because nothing concerns them with what is happening to husband and wife.
As well.
So, and to us men, we shouldn't, because you are reacting, and again, we shouldn't even react over anything. Reaction is not a very healthy word. To react means to react to a particular action. We shouldn't react to a particular action. For example, a wife, your husband talks to you in a way that you don't like. Reaction means looking back to your husband and answering him the way you feel he deserves. Even if your answer lacks honor, you give it to him that way. So, that in the midst of all of this pressure that the environment has put on us, that the Nigeria factor, Nigeria has put on us, we still need to be committed. Commitment means even you don't feel like it, you have to do it. That is why I believe more in the concept of commitment than in the concept of, love, because there are times you don't feel love. There are times you don't feel love. There are times you don't even want to talk to anybody, your children, but if we are now committed to doing what is right, whether you feel like it or not, you are just predictable. Your children can predict you that, oh, now that mommy is talking, mommy loves me, not because she hates me. Back then, if I scold my first son, Yeshua, and he's weeping, guess who Yeshua will go to? Kemi, I want you to guess that. I am the one that's calling. Guess who Yeshua will go to?
His mom.
No, it comes to me. Because by intuition, he knows that he must have done something wrong. That's Yeshua. But his younger brother is not like that. Very different. And they are both lovely. They are both fantastic. So I have a duty to love them differently. I have a duty to be committed to their happiness. That even they are asking for what I do not have at the moment, I should make them understand it. I shouldn't say, are you blind? Back then, if you need to tell us and the money is not on grant, they will tell us, can't you see what is going on? Can't you see? I can see, but I need books. You guys are from, many of you can afford many things. But back then, I was braced so much that I can't remember if I ever bought a new textbook. We were so rich to that extent. Yet nobody is saying, oh, don't worry, it's just time, we are going to. We were not talking to that. We just have to be blind to that reality, go to someone that has gone past our class, borrow the textbook. So I'm used to back then read old textbooks. Now the lesson now is for me not to criticize my parents, is for me not to condemn my parents, because it's a reality that they were living in then. They won't cut their heads because they need to buy textbooks for their children. Now I have a duty. Yeshua and Yazid. Pelumi, do you think you should do more? Do more in sense of, having more children. Even I'm ready, my wife is not ready because I'm not the one that will carry them. The time has changed. We were 6 children, but my children, we were just 2. They are just 2, and I'm fine. Some people are praying for girls for me. I would like that, but I don't think that is now. And I'm just good with these 2 boys. So, what they deserve from us is just our best. And I think as long as we are giving our best, we are fine. Finally, from my end, I want to, because of our time, I want to encourage parents. Don't worry. You are not like myself and Debbie, for example. Debbie is committed to, you see, not that Debbie is committed to be a full housewife. That is what some people will say. And I remember telling my wife last week, that there is no half housewife. Every wife are full housewife. So in the midst of your busy schedule, you have to be committed to still being a full housewife. Because if you are thinking of yourself not being a full housewife, okay, somebody is going to help you balance the remaining parts outside. And nobody wants that. So ladies should prepare to be a full housewife. That doesn't mean you won't do whatever you want. You want to be a career person. Fantastic. You can still be that by being a full housewife. Now the time is more demanding. We are not equally great financially. But don't worry. Don't pass the aggression on your children. Love them and let them understand the reality that the family is going through, and let them know that it's just a phase. Is going to, slowly pass. These two shall pass. So the 80-20 principle, that 80% of your results will come from 20% of your activities. So don't let us get ourselves so overwhelmed. The result of my children is not fine. No problem. Just be committed to getting the child on the right path. And then just imagine, I was cajoled into going to science class too. Now, the funnest part of it is that when I got to science class, I became the best student. Not theoretically, but evidentially, I became the best student when I got to science class, even though I knew this is not my place. So we send our children to science class, even they are still in primary school, when they're supposed to be in arts. Anytime we are comparing them with another child outside, we grew up in Baptist church, fantastic, denomination. And back then in Baptist church, some children are very fantastic with memory verse. Oh my God, I'm so bad at that. I'm so bad at that. So some children are like Tita Yenoro, God bless her. They are Yenoros. Oh my God, they are very good with reciting scriptures. I am not good at that. See, I have tried it. It didn't work. And Daddy will, our firstborn, bear the Bronx most. Daddy will come back home and say, don't you see other children in church? Don't you see how they are doing? Well, I would rather focus on my strength. I could play more than musical instruments back then. So those other children couldn't do that. So the equation is balanced. So I will play them with dance, they will recite scriptures, I will listen. Fantastic. Because if I'm playing all the instruments, I'm doing all the music, I'm doing all the composition, and I'm reciting all the scriptures, all of them will be useless. So God wants me to be fun. So he gave some this, he gave some this, he gave some this. But that scripture, do I know it now? I know it. So, but it wasn't by me being pressured or being compared with other children that, made me read the scriptures from beginning to the end more than one time, enjoy reading it, not by reciting it because, we have a convention to prepare for, but by taking time. I saw reasons to do that, and I, devoted this thing to it. So we are not to look at our parents and laugh at their mistakes. We have to look at their mistakes and say, oh no, we know more, we know better. Just as Debbie said, we know better now. They were not making errors back then, according to Debbie. They were not, no. That was all they know. That was all the information they gave based on their exposure. They were very right in their time. And we all know that time has changed. The time we're talking about, Oluwakemi, there was no way we could do what we are doing at the moment. In fact, we didn't even have that phone that Nigeria usually do back then in our own house. We didn't have it. So time has changed. Now we can talk to each other, talk with each other as though we are so near each other. And people can watch what we are doing without gathering in hall. Time has changed. And these are affecting the way we relate and interact with the society. So it is not, the best is not in yesterday, parents. The best is in now. And basically, if you do not remember all from me today, just remember commitment. Just be committed to loving them. Be committed to not comparing your children with another children. Even be committed to not comparing your children with themselves. Don't you see the first born? Don't you see the second born? Let's be committed to doing whatever change you like to see. And for us as parents, we supposed to be the change. Now, Yeshua grew up seeing me read books. That is the only thing he grew up seeing that. So Yeshua doesn't need anybody to pressure him to read because he grew up seeing his dad read anytime dad is at home. He grows up seeing his dad watching good content, documentaries, nice things. Now, even at age 4, if people are kissing each other in the TV, that's why we call his mom, come and change it. Oh, people can say it's just 4, just wait until he's 7. Well, is that same boy. Because he grew into those things, not because we taught him those things. We never sat him down and said, Joshua, anytime you see people kissing in the TV, call mommy. No, he grew into doing that. So we should allow our children to grow into whatever we want them to express later in life. That is training. So if you want your children, if you want your son, if you want your daughter to study medicine, let her grow into loving medicine. The problem parents usually have later is that you have never been part of our life. This child grew up drawing things or repairing engines, and all of a sudden you just came from the blues to be telling him that, hey, this is your GST exam. You have to go to science class. This guy is already used to, dancing, art stuff, or even commercial stuff. So whatever we can. Why would you tell me not to tell my son what to study? Is he your son?
Yeah.
And that philosophy is just everywhere now. Don't tell your children, let them choose. Why would they choose? Why would they choose? They will choose right. The best way to make them choose right is allowing them to grow into whatever we have in our mind. If after allowing them to grow into that, they still change their mind, then let it be. You try your best. But not that you have directly impacted something, you have not been part of their life, and all of a sudden you just want to study engineering. It won't happen. They won't embrace it. But if they grew up loving that, you can make them love it. Put the toys about engineering around. Get them this brick they usually play with. Let them be building skyscrapers. Let them be working with stuff. By the time you will just see them say, "Oh, I like to study engineering." Daddy made them do that by placing those pictures around them. Children are born savage. If we put a child inside jungle after birth, we put a child inside jungle, that child will be behaving like monkey. So we have the duty to make them stable. And we can only do that when we become part of their lives sincerely. When they are right, let them know they are right. And when they are wrong, even though the information is coming from outside, we should say, no, never, it can never be my child. No, it can never be my child. My child is not this. First, engage your son. Did you do it? Yes, mommy, I did it. Oh, okay, don't worry. We are very, very sorry about that. Apologize. Don't depend blindly outside. You are destroying the life of mothers. Do that a lot. They will say, no, no, it's not my child. Inside, they will now say, why did you do it? Apologize on behalf of your son. That he said he did it. But we are very, very sorry. Do we need to pay anything? Do we need to attend to anything on your side? And if the answer is, oh, no, don't worry. Honestly, let it be. So children are fantastic. Based on principle, we can get them to wherever we want them to get to. So life is run by principle, and parenting too is governed by basic principles. So it is our duty to search out for these principles. When we search them out and we live by them, then we will get the best results that we should get. Let's get the 80-20 principle. Just focus on few things. 2 out of 10, focus on them. 2 most important out of the items you've listed, focus on them, and you'll see yourself achieving all the items you've listed. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, PLM, for your words. I'm sure that our viewers watching this have picked one thing or another. Thank you so much, Mrs. Odeniyi. Yeah, thank you so much for helping us to tap from the little that we don't have children yet now. I feel like there's a lot of parenting actually. So thank you for your time. Thank you for today. I have a lot of questions I would have loved to ask you, but my time is actually fast spent, and I don't want to exceed my time. So, Mrs. Odeniyi, as we were closing, do you have any final words for parents before you go, before we wrap up the today's program?
I will say that do your part, let God do his part. Because parenting is a service. It's a service that you have to be deliberate about. It's something that you're going to do, but you cannot do it on your own. You don't have the wisdom. You don't even have an idea because you don't even know the kind of child that is coming your way. So all you need to do your part. Let God that gave you that child, let him also do his own part too. And for people that don't understand what I'm saying is that what will be will always be, like what Pelumi always say when we're growing up. What will be will always be. If you have planned, like I planned my own life, I've already planned it like, okay, this is what it's going to be. So if I already planned my children's life, oh, then you're going to be a doctor. So they were, oh, you're going to be like this, you're going to be a musician. Oh, you're going to, no. The necessary things, the expected things as a parent, do it, nurture them, teach them the way they should grow, as the Bible says. Make them know what should be done, make them know the right, wrong things, what is expected of them as you grow older. Now you're going into teenagehood, now you are becoming a man. Teach them all necessary things that you should teach them. Put them on the altar of God. Always tell them they're in the hands of God, and let God, there's something I believe in. Let him breathe life into them. You will be amazed at how they will turn out. Because the truth is, you cannot control their life. You can't control what happens to them. There are a lot of children, I'm not Yoruba. I was married into a Yoruba home, and most of the children they have plenty names. Oh, Oluwakemi, Adeshekini, Ekiniko, like that. But at the end of the day, the child grows up to just pick up one name or two names. So if you are bombarded, you have bombarded them with so much. At the end of the day, the child will pick what he wants to pick. So that's why I would say again, I will emphasize again, I will say it again, I will reinforce again. Do your part, let God do his part, so that at the end of the day, the child will blossom. The child will even have more reason to say, thank you, mommy. Thank you, daddy, for showing me the way that I should go, the way that would not be the path of destruction. Me as a believer, I'll go back again, being as a believer, I believe so much in the Bible. So whatever thing, as I'm training you, I'm also showing you this is what's expected of me as a mother. This is what's expected of me as a father. So I'm training you. I'm also showing you the other way, so that at the end of the day, you are becoming not just a man, but a divine man. You are going to be, I don't have girls, but you're going to be a divine woman. So that tomorrow it will not be, there's something that my father said, that in all that he's doing, it's not for me to just be a woman, but he wants me to be a woman of substance. That when they call your name, when they are talking about you, Debbie, they will be saying, yes. So that's the point. So when you are trying to do it all by yourself, remember that you cannot do it by your own way. It's not by power, not by mind, but by the Spirit of God. So that's just it, so that I don't say more than I should say.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Thank you for honoring our invite tonight. I'm sure our viewers have learned, really, really learned. If I say PLM should give us final words like this, hey, so I'm very scared to tell him to give us final words. I'm so scared to give final words. Okay, your final words, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Family is like a farmland. Now, God told Adam that tend the garden and keep it. Keep the garden and tend it. Just there was no instruction. There was no instruction anywhere in the Bible that Adam, love your wife. Adam, do this to Eve. Adam, do this to your children. No, just tend the garden. So God has given us men. Why our wife? If yours is wives, all the best. But He has given a man a wife. He has given our wives, ladies, husbands. Now, this is our garden. I am in the garden of my wife. My wife is in my garden. My children are in my garden. I have a duty to tend that garden. Keep the garden clean, because to have a great farm produce, it takes effort. It takes a deliberate effort. You don't just plant your maize and walk away. You have to tend it. You have to clear the weeds and do all that to make sure you have the best result from the farm. Family is exactly the same. Yoruba used to say, "Ohun tá a bá fi sílẹ̀, òun lewúrẹ́ ń gbé." Do not assume your children are doing well because you are paying their school fee. Be concerned in whatever is going on in that school. Do not just be concerned that after all, I'm giving my wife's money. No, it's more than money they desire, they needed. It's more than money. So let's tend our garden in the best way you can tend yours. My children are different from Debbie's children. So I cannot directly tell Debbie that, okay, this is how you must. No, that's the wrong advice, because we are all dealing with different individuals. And then we have a duty, no matter how different they are. It's just like you having mango. I'm sorry to compare children with toast and family with those. Having mango, having all these different kind of things on your farm. You still have a duty to protect the farm, to tend it and to keep it. So fathers especially, please tend your garden. Train your children. Love your wife. Train your children especially, because we are talking about parenting, in the way they should go. When they grow up, they will not depart from it. Train them. Training means be involved in the process of their growth. Train them, and when they grow up, they will not depart from it. There is no way my son will say, "Daddy, I want to become a football coach," because I'm not training him to become a football coach.
Okay.
Or he can say, "Okay, I want to be this," because he's being trained. He's being trained to become anything good. Debbie has always said that, I finished the statement before her, that be a woman of substance. So Daddy was involved in that. That was why, he gave us an account of all of us guys visiting her and coming back home is another story. Being involved. Daddy, our fathers are not always available, but the little time they have with us, they give their best. So let's be involved, because we are rearing different children now. And we need to learn many skills, even internet skills. If you don't say, no, me, I don't like internet, I'm not a social media person. Every father can be social media somebody in our head and heart. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PLM. It's an honor to have you today on our parenting, intentional parenting. Okay, my final words before we would go tonight is that everything in this world, everything in life that we want to do, be it academics, be it marriage, be it parenting, everything we want to do, if we want to succeed and excel in them, we have to be intentional about them. So regardless of what you are doing, and then you want to be called a woman of substance, a man of excellence, and everything, you have to be intentional about it. Same thing, same way, parenting also must be intentional. You must be intentional about your child. You must be intentional about seeing that this child be trained up in the way it should go, in the way she should go. And trust me, if you do that, when they grow up, they will not depart from it. You can sleep and close your eyes and send your child to any country, and you are sure that I've done my part over this child. And I'm sure she will choose the very, very, very right path. Even when she's options are placed before her, choose between this and this. You can be sure that, okay, my child would do this because you have been involved in this our life. You know what he or she can do. So please, parents, let us be intentional about our children. It's not just about paying their school fees. It's not just about, it's fantastic if you pay their school fees. It's beautiful if you provide for their needs. But much more than that, there are a lot of things to still do as parents. Sit down with them, know what they think about. While growing up, there were so many things that if I'm thinking about, I'm like, wow, if my mother knew what I was thinking when I was this age. Sometimes ask them questions, know their opinions about stuff. You'll be able to know the extent and the limits at which your child can go. The influence of that outsiders have over your child. When you communicate with them, not just leave them that, okay, I trust her, she doesn't know this one. We know a lot of things. So parents, we know so much. We know a lot of stuff. So communicate with us, converse with us, get involved in our lives, and then you will know that, my child knows a lot. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for tonight. We hope that next week, we'll bring another amazing topic again. PLM, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you around. Mrs. Odeniyi, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your words.
Thank you.
And extend our greetings to all the boys, the 3 boys and PLM, 2 amazing guys you have. Please extend our greetings to them. Tonight, this is how we'll wrap up on today's show. Visit our website, www.shininghappytest.org, to check out amazing stuff that we have for you guys. Thank you so much for viewing tonight. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Anifowoshe. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ma.
I have to go now.
All right.
Because my attention is really dead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. PLM. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Mama G, thank you.
We'll talk more.
Yes,
all right.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. Bye.